Okay, council, it's 7 o'clock. I call this meeting to order. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Yep, next we have roll call. Santa?
All counselors are present with Counselor Jackie Vigil appearing via Zoom.
Thank you. That brings us to the next item on the agenda. The agenda approval. Councilor Vigil,
Mayor. Sorry, Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, please start voting. Yes, Susanna?
Counselor Jackie Vigil, how do you vote?
I approve.
Motion passed unanimously.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is citizen comments. This is the segment of the agenda to where we have citizens who are residents who've turned in comment cards. I'll call your name. When I call your name, feel free to come up to the podium to either one of the mics, speaking to the mic. The comments are limited to a 3-minute time. If you're still talking at the 3-minute mark, I will politely ask you to end your comments at that 3-minute mark, but we do ask that you keep your comments to within 3 minutes. After we listen to the people here in the audience, we'll then open up the mic for anyone who's on Zoom who would like to make any comments. Okay, the first person I have is Don Thompson.
Thank you, Council. My name is Don Thompson. I live at 9th and 8th and Bell in Alamosa. And I'm on the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee. So this gives me an opportunity to thank Council for doing a proclamation this evening for Historic Preservation Month. I think since the last time we spoke to you, we've only had 2 additional designations. One was the depot, a pretty easy one since it was already on the National Historic Register, and Zapata Historic Park, which I'm extremely proud. That's what allows us as Alamosans to say that we are the home of school desegregation. 1912, 1914. We desegregated our schools here in Alamosa. I'm sure I had, oh yes, one other thing. This is Historic Preservation Month. Friday, as part of First Friday, I will be doing a downtown walking tour of historic buildings. We're keeping it a secret, but that's because Molly is out of town this week. But I am planning on doing that if anybody wants to join us at 2 o'clock. Again, thank you for the support that you've shown to historic preservation in Alamosa.
Thank you. The next comment card I have, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Is it Jeremy? Okay, Jeremy. If you can come up to the microphone and speak into the microphone, you have 3 minutes. You're welcome. Yes, there's a clock right there.
All right. Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Cool. All right. You may roll it and I'll start. I will begin by saying I do not give the same allegiance to your America as you, but I do believe I have the fairness to be here. I hope to one day maybe become a world citizen and not pay my taxes towards bombs because I disagree with it. Washington once upon a time wanted to annex from all of America, and I'm from Oregon, so I learned much about that, not just little. So I know a thing or two. I can remain inside of America, own property, do business as I choose as a citizen of the world, and that is my hope one day. Now, my concern with Alamosa, Colorado is the police and how they conduct their activity. Police misconduct would be labeled onto the card I gave you guys, simply put. I believe I've had dealing with him. He seems to not be able to understand this, so let me go ahead and tell you. My Estes is an officer who I believe is being unfair and untruthful. When I made a complaint against him, he was the officer who handled his own complaint. When I call
I'm sorry,
officers like him,
sorry, can you speak into the mic so we can hear you, please?
when I talk to officers like Spangler over there, he tells me that it's not uncommon for internal affairs officers that are the ones who are being complained against for dishonesty in their reports, which comes before my civil rights violation of Alonzo Payne. That he, like, it's okay for an internal affairs officer to handle his own complaint. That's a form of dishonesty to me and doesn't show for true accountability. So that's what I wanted to use it with 148 left.
Thank you.
Was there any misunderstandings, might I ask, within the remaining time that I have?
We don't make any comments at this part, so once you're
Okay.
done, let me know, and when your time is up, I'll ask you to sit down, but you're free to keep
Thank you.
talking if you like.
Thank you for the time. I don't usually give that privilege. Good day.
Thank you. The next comment card I have is Tim Dillette.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. I'm a co-responder with the Alamosa Police Department. And last fall, I had the honor and pleasure of riding in the Shield 616 5-day event from our southern border to our northern border, which was a fundraising event and an awareness raising event for the Alamosa Police Department. And here in a couple weeks, I'm happy to say that I'm going to be participating myself as well as our very own Eric Schwiesow in the next Shield 616 ride, which starts May 16th. And it's a 4-day ride this time around. And we'll be starting in Colorado Springs. And just briefly here, it starts at the Shields outdoor store in the Springs. Shields to Sedalia, Sedalia to Boulder Day 2, Boulder to Estes Park, Estes Park to Johnstown Shields. And this fundraising effort, I'll still be representing the Alamosa Police Department as well as our community, but the fundraising is going towards Alamosa Sheriff's Department for that Angel armor, rifle rated body armor again. So this is also an invitation to sponsor my ride. If you look up shield616.org, Eric's name was also there, but you're welcome to sponsor either one of us, but I'm personally inviting you to sponsor me. Okay. But please do that. Thanks very much. You have any questions? You can call my personal work cell. It's not my personal cell. Work cell is 719-580-5411. Also, Jamie, I'm still looking for that lunch invitation. Thanks very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the next item on the agenda. Well, we're going to go to Zoom. Do we have any participants on Zoom who would like to make any comments during the open comment segment? If so, please use the raise your hand feature that's on the bottom of your computer screen to raise your hand to be recognized. I don't see any hands raised. You, okay. So we'll go ahead and close this segment of the agenda and we'll move on down to the next item. And
Mayor,
that's,
is there follow-up?
yes, go ahead, please. If there's follow-up.
I
I just wanted to share, I don't think there's much follow-up as it relates to Mr. Thompson or Mr. Dillette's comments. In regards to Mr. Gardner's, I did want to share with council that Mr. Gardner's concerns over the years have been taken seriously. We have looked into it. I myself have had a meeting. Obviously, our findings are not satisfactory to Mr. Gardner, which is why he is here tonight. But I did want to share that it's, there has been conversations, there has been meetings and looking into the concerns that he has raised. And that's all I have from staff follow-up. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanchez. That brings us down to ceremonial items. We have 3 proclamations tonight here at the City of Alamosa. What we do is we share in reading the proclamations. And tonight I have 2 council members who are going to help out with the proclamations. The first one is the Municipal Clerks Week proclamation, and it's going to be read and presented by Councilor Jamie Dominguez.
Better. So this proclamation is the 55th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, May 5th through 11th, 2024. Whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides a professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas the professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 5th through May 11th, 2024 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerks, Holly Martinez, Susana Gallegos, Ariel Portillo Lawson, Kenny Aries, and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Given under my hand and seal of the City of Alamosa, Colorado, on this first day of May, 2024.
Thank you, Councilor Dominguez. The next proclamation we have is Historic Preservation Month, and that's going to be read by Councilor Jan Vigil.
Thank you, Mayor. It's an honor to read this for the HPAC, Don. Historic Preservation Month Proclamation, May 2024. Whereas the City of Alamosa, in celebration of the month of May, as Archaeology and Historic Preservation Month recognizes that historic sites and structures in the community are symbols of our heritage and valuable assets to the quality of life in our community. These structures anchor our downtown, our residential areas, and the larger community, upholding the native character of our city and instilling civic pride by virtue of their very presence. Their potential as resources and attractors for heritage tourism is great. The events, businesses, and experiences these sites have hosted connect us to one another and form a vital part of the fabric of our community. And whereas Alamosa's many historic structures represent a diversity of economic and architectural trends that are integral to the past and future development of this great community, founded 133 years ago. The city is actively engaged in recognizing these emblems of our heritage through the Alamosa Historic Registry. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Ty Coleman, the mayor of the city of Alamosa, and on behalf of the entire city council, proclaims the month of May 2024 as Historic Preservation Month and encourages its citizens to advance historic preservation activities in the community.
All right. I see we have Mr. Thompson here. Did you want to say anything at the podium or anything before we come down and present this proclamation to you? Okay, good. All right. Okay, let's go.
Come on up, Don. Picture time.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Hill. Okay, the next proclamation, I believe I saw Kate in the back. Did you want to come up to the podium? Okay, we're going to read the proclamation, but if you want to say a few words before we read it, that's up to you.
Sure. I just wanted to thank council again, express my gratitude on behalf of San Luis Valley Behavioral Health Group for partnering with us again, and recognizing May as Mental Health Month. I also would like to invite all of you to our Mental Health Action Day breakfast on May 16th. It'll be at our Alamosa location. You can find more details on our social media page if you'd like to come. And again, I thank you guys for your partnership.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Proclamation May Mental Health Month. This proclamation declares May Mental Health Awareness Month in the city of Alamosa, Colorado. Whereas there is a proven connection between good mental health and overall personal health, and whereas mental illness affects almost every family in America, and whereas people with mental illness recover if given the necessary services and support in their communities. And whereas people with mental illnesses make important contributions to our families and our communities. And whereas millions of adults and children are disabled by mental illness every year. And whereas only 1 out of 2 people with a serious form of mental illness seek treatment for his or her mental illness. And whereas stigma and fear of discrimination keep many who would benefit from mental health services from seeking help. And whereas research shows that the most effective way to reduce stigma is through personal contact with someone with a mental illness. And whereas good mental health is critical to the well-being of our families, communities, schools, and businesses. And whereas greater public awareness about mental illnesses can change negative attitudes and behaviors towards people with mental illnesses. Now therefore, I, Ty Coleman, Mayor of the City of Alamosa, and on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as Mental Health Month. As the Mayor of Alamosa, I also call upon all Alamosa citizens, governmental agencies, the public and private institutions, businesses, and schools to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental illnesses, reducing stigma and discrimination, and promoting appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental illnesses. Given under my hand and seal of the City of Alamosa this first day of May 2024. All right, everyone, if we could go down there, and you're free to bring your daughter up and take a picture too if you like. Yeah. All right, council, that brings us to the next item on the agenda under consent calendar A, Council Jan Vigil.
Mayor, I move that we approve consent calendar A.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, please start voting.
Counselor Jackie Vigil, how do you vote?
I approve.
Okay. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Brings us to the next item on the agenda. Under regular business, annual updates from outside agencies. The first one is going to be from one of our funding partners, Bicycle Coalition.
Good evening, council. Good evening, mayor. My name is Grantley Showalter. I'm the executive director of the Alamosa Bicycle Coalition. We're a local bicycle nonprofit. We do a lot of work in the community, a lot of different programs, but our main goals are to make bikes and bike maintenance accessible to everyone, including people who don't have the resources to access that. And we've been here in Alamosa since 2019. We've been growing each year. And the city of Alamosa has been a really awesome partner for in many different ways, including this outside funding partnership that's been really awesome for us and helped us maintain. And we've had some really exciting things happening recently. 2023 was a really big year for us. We did a lot more programs, a lot more people served through the Bike Coalition, a lot more people attending classes and events and that type of thing. And it's been really exciting to kind of see that grow over the past couple of years with the support of the city. Some exciting things that have been going on in 2024 include Alamosa, the Bike Coalition and the City of Alamosa working together to create the Bikeability Working Group, which is a new group that's been formed in partnership with some community members, as well as other nonprofits in Alamosa to assess bike infrastructure and pedestrian infrastructure, see where we can improve, come up with plans and ideas of how to make Alamosa a more bike-friendly place and pedestrian-friendly as well. Yeah, so we've been meeting regularly every 2 weeks or so to talk about strategies, plans, ideas. It's really exciting to be a part of and really grateful for the city for being a part of that. The city manager's office has been really great partners in that as well. ABC has also expanded a lot of programming in terms of kids programming this year. Last year we did a lot of bike rodeos, which is a fun event for kids and families to get outside, learn some bike safety and bike navigating skills on a bike and kind of like an obstacle course type event. We've done a lot of those this past year, and we're doing a bunch more this year, including partnerships with the Boys and Girls Club and other kids serving organizations in Alamosa. So it's been really fun, and I'm really stoked about all of that work. And today, May 1st marks the first day of National Bike to Work Month. The Bike Coalition, in partnership with other organizations, are going to be doing some events this month to encourage people to get out, ride your bike to work or to the park or whatever activity. The weather's been really great recently, and I've been really enjoying riding to work. People who live in Alamosa know that like winters are pretty cold, and so when it finally starts to warm up, it's really exciting to be able to ride bikes again. So I encourage everyone on City Council. May 17th is National Bike to Work Day. The Bike Coalition and other partners are going to be hosting an event to encourage people to bike to work or just to bike to the park. Since it's a Friday, I know that city isn't working. Most city employees don't work on Fridays, but just get out and bike, that kind of stuff. And then the following day on the 18th is our bike swap, which is going to be an event just to encourage people to get out and maybe people have old bike parts or bikes laying around that they can sell. We'll have some stuff available as well, and just to encourage more energy around bikes and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of the update, and I'm really just want to reiterate how grateful I am for the support of the city and how exciting it's been to be able to be a part of this work.
Okay, thank you. We have some comments from council. Councilor Untitled and Councilor Krebs.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome.
Grantley, thank you for your work on this program and this group. Can you comment a little bit about like bike maintenance and the services you help with people to fix up their bikes and stuff like that?
Yeah, so our workspace is behind Hobbytown on Main Street. We're open 3 days a week, and people can come in and use tools and work on their bikes. If me or the other staff members are available, we'll help or teach them how to do it themselves. We never try not to ever do anything for people, but we'll like show people, okay, this is how you work on your chain or adjust your brakes or whatever the case whatever's needed for the case. And we also have been really working on kind of on the infrastructure side. I don't know if you notice here at Cole Park, there's a bike station with some tools and a pump. There's a couple of those around town, and the Bike Coalition has been active in applying for funding to put more of those in, hopefully at our schools, at more of our parks, so that if you're riding and you get a flat tire or something goes wrong, there's more resources that you can get fixed up, at least enough to get home and at least enjoy a ride. I know the goat heads are really bad here, so a lot of people have flat tires, and more resources is always good to encourage people to get on bikes. Anyway, I just found out yesterday that we got approved for funding from one of the applications that we had put out for this specific project. These resources, so we'll be getting at least 2 more of those installed in the next year.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Vio. Councilor Krebs.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it's so exciting to see a group that has such passion behind it be as successful as you have in such a short time. So thank you so much for putting your passion into this. It is appreciated. For the bike swap, do they have to pre-register? Do they just show up?
Yeah, people, if you wanna take a look at what's available, you can just show up. If you have things that you'd like to sell, you can let me know ahead of time, Alamosa Bicycle Coalition at gmail.com. And we'll make sure we have a space for you, a table or whatever, or at least a space that you can have your things set up. Or if you're like, I'd like to get rid of some of this bike stuff, but I don't want to commit my morning to it, you can just donate it to the Bike Coalition, then we'll sell it, and it'll be some funds for our operations as well. So.
And where is that bike swap going to be located on that day?
Excuse me. Yeah, we're hoping that it's going to be in front of the Restore, the Habitat for Humanity
Okay.
thrift store. That's still yet to be confirmed, so working on that detail, but I'll be sure to publicize the location as soon as I have that.
And you have a Facebook page?
Yes,
Awesome.
Facebook, Instagram. We have a little kind of a website. It's not our full website, but and yeah, our email is also a place to get information.
Awesome. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Yeah, thanks so much, Council. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Council Cribs. Council Carson.
Question, if the spot that you're having the bike swap at falls through, what's your contingency plan? Do you have one?
Yeah, last year we had it here at Cole Park at the North
Okay.
Pavilion. It was kind of tucked away in the corner, so I didn't know if people were super aware of it. That's why I was looking for a more central location. But yeah, that's gonna be our kind of backup plan if not.
Is it possible for them to use like the new parking lot on Main Street or something? Or is there liability issues? Is there things?
They just would need to call to reserve it,
Yeah,
type of
so
thing.
just think, about that new parking lot downtown across from Boys and Girls Club offices. It's a big spot, the farmer's market's there. So, just something to consider, and it'd be more central than the corner of Cole Park. And I'm not, just putting that out there. I think the city would be willing to help you guys.
And to clarify, so I was thinking the 4th Street parking lot, which obviously isn't as visible as on Main.
Okay, that would do either one.
But the 6th Street is technically not the city's parking lot. So you would have to call Friday Health, which I don't think that would happen. So you could just do it and ask for forgiveness. So I
I
can't,
say
the
that.
city cannot, the city cannot give permission. It's not technically a city parking lot.
Cool, yeah.
Look at Eric grabbing his head.
City
Sorry.
manager's learning legal terms from the city attorney.
And I do have a comment before you close it out
Thank
as well,
you.
Mayor.
Yeah, thanks for your suggestions. Appreciate that.
Okay, Ms. Sanchez.
So Grantley, I appreciate the shout out for the support of the efforts in that working group as well. I just want to make sure we give credit to where credit's due. Beata out of the planning division is the one who's been attending the meetings and doing some of the research and really having a passion for it. And so I just wanted to give her a shout out from a city perspective. And then obviously, as you're doing these events, you've got your Facebook, but anything you want to shoot to us, we can get on city's Facebook stuff as well, either through Beata or Jasmine. So either way.
Great. Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, Beata's been really great. She's got a lot of skills and expertise that have been really vital to what the working group is doing and yeah, what we're putting through. So yeah, and I'll definitely be sending some marketing materials y'all's way.
And Grantley, I'll wrap things up. On the May the 17th, Ride Your Bike to Work Day, are you all having a tent located somewhere for that event like you did last year?
Yeah, I think we'll probably set up at Zapata Historic Park again, like we did last year. Last year we had like burritos and juice and that kind of thing. So we'll probably do something similar to that again this year to, just encourage people to get out on bikes. And you were there last year, Ty, which I really appreciate. Thanks for doing that, Mayor.
Thank you, thank you. Unfortunately, that's the only time I pull out the bike, so I'm not, it's telling a story right there. But hopefully I'll get to ride more often this month. But thank you so much for everything you do, you and your team. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Council. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, that brings us to the next item on the agenda. Annual update from outside funding partner, the Veterans Coalition of the San Luis Valley.
Good evening, Mayor Coleman, council members.
Good evening.
Appreciate the opportunity to come before you this evening, share how the support that you have given the Veterans Coalition of the San Luis Valley have helped veterans and validated them. My name is Richard Nagley. I'm the founder and VCSLV Board President. In addition, I have a number of veteran hats that I wear. I'm also the Veteran Service Officer for the American Legion Department of Colorado and the Veteran Service Officer Liaison for the state of Colorado. I'd like to take a moment and recognize any veterans that we have in the room that can stand. Would you please stand? Seeing none. How about anyone that's related to a veteran? Please raise your hand. Thank you very much. Typically, we find that 10% of the population are veterans or active military, and 95% or more are related to a veteran. Let's not forget those that have served and what it's brought to us. According to the VA's FY22 summary of expenditures report that you have before you now, Alamosa County, they can't break it down to the city, has a population of 780 with 383 veterans enrolled in the healthcare system. We know there are more veterans than that. The VA can only find what they can find. In any case, we know it's an honor and humbling opportunity to work with 67 of the veterans over this last year for Alamosa County, and to see the changes that we've made in their lives. Another number I'd like to call to your attention is the total expenditure. In FY22, $10.7 million was received in total expenditures, to significantly less than those 780 veterans. Imagine what it would be like in Alamosa, the veterans in Alamosa County, if all veterans were receiving the benefits they've earned. That being said, status of Alamosa veterans and veterans of the San Luis Valley is not good. The Veterans Administration, Colorado Division of Veteran Affairs, and San Luis Valley County Veteran Service Officers are not serving veterans as President Lincoln promised, to care for all those who have borne the battle and for their widows and orphans. Just ask a veteran how they're being served. As I mentioned last year in 2018, the Mission Act was passed by the Congress. There was a provision in that act to evaluate all VA facilities every 4 years. At the end of the first 4 years, 5 of the community-based clinics in rural southern and southeastern Colorado were reviewed. 4 of them were targeted to be closed. Alamosa was the only one that wasn't. This Air Commission is what it's called, is coming back again, and this year it will be in 2026. They will make their decision, and Alamosa has a good chance of being closed because they're not serving veterans properly. In November 2023, the VA Office of Inspector General, which is the national organization, executed a community summary report on care in the community. The results were not good. Alamosa was the only clinic in all of Colorado that was targeted for the review. Colorado is now under a comprehensive investigation by the OIG. Leadership has been replaced. We're on our second interim director for healthcare, and we don't know when the final report's going to come out on that. Colorado law mandates that every county have or share a county veteran service officer. This individual is a veteran contracted by the county to serve for 2 years. CRS 285803 duties read, it is the duty of the county veteran service officer and his or her assistant to assist any resident in the state of Colorado who is a veteran or their surviving spouse, administrator, executor, guardian, conservator, or their heir of any said veteran or any other person who may have a proper claim by the filing of claims for insurance, pension, compensation for disability, hospitalization, vocational training, and or any other benefits which such person may or may have been entitled to. In addition, the Colorado Division of Veteran Affairs shall provide satisfactory supervision, direction, and assistance to all county veteran service officers and shall provide such services and facilities to the county veteran service officers as may be determined by the division to be necessary. Those are their duties. The Division of Veteran Affairs was restructured and has been broken the state into 6 regions. Each region has a state veteran service officer that works with the county service officers. Their job is to know and understand the communities that the service officers are serving. In 2021, the State of Colorado Auditor conducted a performance audit of the Colorado Division of Veteran Affairs, the Colorado Board of Veteran Affairs, and the Colorado County Veteran Service Officers. The 80-page report is summarized by this key concern. The Division of Veteran Affairs and the Colorado Board of Veteran Affairs do not sufficiently plan for, supervise, and support veteran services, which are largely provided by the county veteran service offices. This was not a good report. Auditors don't write 80-page reports when things are going well. Instead, the CDVA has taken the tact of changing CRS. Instead of supervising, they have now had our congressionals vote and change it to monitor what's going on for veterans. So there's no accountability. There was little, shall I say, before and not being supervised and not being overseen, but now they've actually changed CRS to say monitor instead of supervise. Both of our local congressionals voted in favor of that. Hopefully we can get that changed. Piece of good news is that the Division of Veteran Affairs provides grants to county veteran service officers and other qualified veteran service organizations. The $4 million that was taken away from both the Veteran Trust Fund grant and the Veteran Administration grant were returned to DVA to be given out. So hopefully there will be more money that both Alamosa County and La Puente will have access to. The Community Living Center at Home Lake got a grant this year for a $92,000 build a pavilion. That seems to be what they think the veterans want, but not necessarily what they need. The coalition was founded 15 years ago because healthcare wasn't being provided here with the Alamosa Clinic. From the beginning, the coalition has been the resource of resources and the safety net for many of our veterans. We're proud the coalition can take calls for assistance from Alamosa veterans. As I say, we worked with 67 veterans this last year, and to see the effect when one has received benefits that they haven't ever gotten before is quite an emotional time. I'm honored to stand here, and I've been a hopeful person for a long time. I think our future is bright, but we're going to need some additional help. Again, thank you, Mayor, council members. I'll take any questions.
Thank you, sir. I sure appreciate your service, and we'll open up the mic now for any comments from council members. Councilor Carson.
Thank you very much for what you're doing and for what you're trying to do. This is a rough fight you're fighting, and it's important, but it's not looking super, I mean, it looks a little grim. I know when you reported last, you did say that they had decided not to close this clinic and, or this region. So you're saying they probably are. Is there any way to turn that around? Is there any way to beef that up or to reach out for help so that we can try to avoid being on that axing list in 26?
Short answer is yes.
I'm gonna have you turn your mic. Your mic is off. If you could push a button down there. Yeah, there you go.
The short answer is yes. The simple answer is no. This is similar to what we experienced when a few years ago, they were going to close military bases. And US Congress, it's an up or down situation. The VA claimed during the initial round that they had interviewed organizations, interviewed communities about who would be closed and why and when. In Colorado, they interviewed 29 individuals. No one south of Colorado Springs. So this is not a state, the state has very little to say about it. The closest that I think we could do is probably get with both of our US senators. We're very friendly to the San Luis Valley and ask them to put pressure on the VA. This will, if they close this clinic, and I was at the San Luis Valley Health meeting today, if they close this clinic and dump another 2,000 veterans into the community healthcare system, given what we're experiencing right now, it's going to get even worse. We'll be back to where we started in 2009 or so, when we couldn't keep a doctor here, and our veterans will have to communicate to Aurora this time instead of Denver, because there's no place in between.
And so have you reached out to Aaron Minks and to Azrael, Kathy Garcia?
Yes.
These people, you've already spoke to them?
Numerous times. There, the VA has various monthly meetings. They invite anyone to sit in on that, their director levels and higher. We have this new interim director that we have at the moment is a real politician, and I think he's there to protect the VA, not necessarily the veterans.
Well, that's too bad. You know, on a personal level, I will also chime in wherever I can to those people, and good luck. I mean, you know, like I say, personally, I'll do whatever I can to help, and just keep reaching out to the city. You know, we'll do what we can, because it's pretty sad that the last statement you made is very sad.
Come by and see what we do with veterans. See your neighbors that, I've gotten a call this week already from a greeter at Walmart who's found a veteran needing help. I got no more time on my calendar, and I still do this for free. So, you know, I'm trying to cut back. I just, my passion, my mission won't allow me to do that.
Well, thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to Counselor Jackie Vigil, then Counselor Jamie Dominguez.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I just want to say thank you for your service, and thank you to all the veterans in the Valley that served in the military. I think that we should support our veterans, because veterans are a vital part of our history. And so I just want you to know that I'm in support of anything that has to do with veterans.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Jackie Vigil. Counselor Jamie Dominguez.
I just want to reiterate what everybody else is saying. Thank you. Appreciate the things you're doing for these guys and girls. I worked with a veteran who stays at home and wouldn't go out in public too much. He'd come to my restaurant, and we became real good friends with him. And I was just curious, what does the mental health look like for these people you work with because of the breakdown of the systems? Do you see it progressing?
Again, the short answer is they're trying, but the problem is many of the older veterans can't use technology. Travel is an issue. We don't have healthcare providers that need to be where they need to be when they need to be. And that's part of the reason the coalition was chosen in 2014 to be the pilot, actually the alpha site for the VA suicide prevention program. That has expanded, that is, the business model has expanded to 39 more organizations, one in Guam in the South Pacific, one in Alaska, one in Hawaii, and the rest, two here actually in Colorado. So we have been very honored to be involved with the mental health programs for the VA. Unfortunately, most veterans or the veterans that are in most need aren't getting it. The veterans in least need don't think they should have it. And that's why Colorado still ranks 5th in the nation in suicide, veteran suicide.
And has there been conversations with the senators?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
on their radar?
I actually wrote the first article on Michael Bennett when he ran for Senate. So I have known him many years and all the other senators along, and have actually a back channel of communication all the way to the Secretary of the VA. And I sit on a number of VA research boards, which is where I was before this meeting tonight. So we have put the San Luis Valley on VA's radar in Washington. If there is a veteran that has a problem, I hate to say this, but have them reach out to me. I don't turn anyone away.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
I just want to say to any community members listening or anybody, like, if you know anybody who's a vet, and even if you don't know them, I know they're very reserved, but once you break down that barrier, like this guy still calls me, and it's, like you said, it's technology, it's his phone, it's mail, it's TV, and just, we've established a good relationship with him. So I think us as community, there's little things we can do to help this guy out, I think. So thank you for what you do.
We've set up our office with technology, so veterans come in. I can play as your administrator has, make sure the technology is running, and we do that several times a week. So it's our honor, it's our mission, it's what we do. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for your service, and thank you for putting Alamosa and the San Luis Valley on the VA's radar. Appreciate everything you do.
Mayor, we have a hand raised by Mary Cornum with the Veterans Coalition.
So normally, do you know who Mary is? Because
Mary is my other half.
she's your other half?
Yes, and-
Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is if you can just have
If you could
Mary,
give her a moment of my time, I'd appreciate it.
just a moment. Sure, if you could. Mary, if you can hear us, we usually give our presentations with a time limit of 10 minutes, but there is still a little time left. If you don't mind, go ahead and make your comments.
Your closing, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Your closing remarks kind of wrapped up what I wanted to add to Richard, and the VA knows the San Luis Valley is on the map because of Richard. Mario's been in our offices, Aaron's been in our offices, Hickenlooper hasn't, Cleve Simpson's been in our offices. We are the liaison for everything veteran in the San Luis Valley, not only for veteran benefits, which Richard addressed, and I don't know why I can't see my face anymore, but as long as you can hear me. But we push healthcare. Eastern Colorado healthcare system knows that the Valley is on the map because of the Veterans Coalition and Richard. He's not well loved in a lot of these circles because he advocates for change, and it's all about serving the veterans. And sometimes there's just a lot of lip service in the law, but no carrying out. So I just wanted to let you know that he is the advocate for veterans. The Veterans Coalition is the advocate for veterans. We don't just file claims and help people get their health care. We advocate at the state level on all horizons. And so we feel that we stand alone a lot of times because people don't want to change. And I just want to reiterate Richard's thank you for your support, because we feel that we feel like we're doing some good when we can stand in front of you and you support us. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Richard. Okay. That brings us to the next item on the agenda. Business brought forward by city staff. First reading of ordinance number 7-2024, an ordinance amending the UDC definitions of dwelling, single-family, detached, and family to limit occupancy based on building codes rather than a hard number cap for unrelated persons.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're
I
welcome.
did not come up with that title, but I promise this ordinance is less brain damage than some of the other ones we sometimes take to you all. This is really mostly a housekeeping sort of ordinance. The state legislature recently passed a bill that prevents local governments from any sort of discriminatory language in the definition of family that would restrict the amount of unrelated people that can be in a household. So currently, our development code states that no more than 4 unrelated people. It's been that way for an awful long time before our existing UDC, and it's really nothing we've ever enforced or looked at. So this would essentially just wipe that out of the code of ordinances. For folks who do sometimes have concerns about overcrowding of units and homes, the building code does have a threshold of how the minimum amount of area you need per person, which is 1 person for every 200 square feet. So there is at least kind of a basement as far as some sort of lower threshold to just make sure that folks have something of a safe environment. And with that, we certainly recommend the approval of this ordinance and to become into compliance with state statutes.
Okay, Counselor Hensley?
If there's no questions, I'm going to go ahead and move that we approve ordinance number 7-2024 on first reading and set for public hearing on May 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, please start voting. Ms. Suzanne?
Counselor Jackie V. Hill, how do you vote?
I approve.
The motion carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to the next item on the agenda. Motion authorizing the city manager to sign a development agreement with Hotel 1900 LLC for the construction of downtown boutique hotel.
Thank you, Mayor. And as I review the details of the development agreement, I do want to let council know that we have Kathy here tonight, who's been working very closely with the developer, who is also here tonight. So if there's any questions you have for anyone, just wanted to make sure you're aware of everyone who's here to be able to answer any of your questions. We're really excited about this opportunity. It's a really unique boutique hotel that's going to go up at 503 State Street. It's the second floor above the narrow gauge. It fits perfectly in the downtown plan, as well as what any community wants from a downtown, which is activation of that second floor. A lot of times that can be somewhat of a dead space, and it can be challenging to do renovation in a historic building that was not necessarily always built for these type of uses and can be expensive. So it's very exciting to see a second story be remodeled and put into use, and to have it be a use that will draw people into our downtown. So we're very excited. It aligns perfectly with the downtown plan and fits in from an economic development perspective. It will be an 11-room boutique hotel. The items that would be covered under the agreement is obviously when you're building, we do have parking requirements, which can be challenging in the downtown area. So the development agreement would allow that requirement to be met by using the city's parking lots, either the current parking lot that we have that is on the old Walsh site, or should that develop in a hotel, as we're expecting the parking lot that would be built on the Pink Elephant site. So either way, their parking requirement could be met by using our parking lots. We also are looking at what they need to invest from an infrastructure perspective. And one of the items they would need to do is a construction of a new sewer line. Now, the construction of the new sewer line would actually benefit other properties as well. And so this development agreement would allow for the reimbursement of those costs automatically once the construction happens. The other infrastructure consideration is the construction of a new water line. That one actually only benefits just this property. So our recommendation on that's a slightly different different in that we would still reimburse, but it would come from the new sales tax funds once the boutique hotel is up and running. For both of those reimbursements, we would not reimburse beyond $60,000. The contract also includes some deadlines and some items like that. It was very much kind of, we used the hotel agreement with Manny Patel to kind of structure this. And so all those lessons learned that we've had throughout the years have been factored into this development agreement. This is consistent with the direction that council provided in executive session. And with that, we're open to questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Sanchez. Okay, council. Any comments or a motion? Council Cribs?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I actually have a question for the building owners. And now while I have you up here, just and a comment. Thank you so much for investing in downtown Alamosa. It is appreciated, and I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing. Having said that, my concern, I'm tangenting a little bit, is more about narrow gauge, with the assurances that because of this development, Art the Barber, and all that, I just would like some assurance, because it is a community bookstore. It's in a great location, and just some assurances that in the near future that there's no plans to try to relocate it or anything.
Absolutely. So we're not wanting the narrow gauge to go anywhere. We're very happy with them. We have a good working relationship with them, and we feel that they're stable in the community. So you can rest assured we feel the same way as you do. There is some things that during construction phases, once we're approved, that we will have to move them out temporarily for safety concerns. But also while they're out, we're going to be making some renovations to their space as well. So some things will be updated for them. So that can kind of give you some assurances that we don't want them to go anywhere.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Are you welcome? Okay, Councilor Dominguez?
Congratulations on your new venture. Good luck.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
And Mayor, I neglected to share an important piece of information. One of the reasons I think council is open to entertaining a development agreement like this isn't just because it's in line with the downtown plan, but we also did run the information through our economic impact formula, and we're anticipating this to have an estimated annual impact of just over $1 million. And so this is a great project for the economy and for the downtown. And I just wanted to make sure I shared that from a public perspective, because it's, you know, we don't take lightly reimbursing private development either. And so it's something we look strongly at.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Councilor Jan Vigil.
Mayor, I'm going to move that we authorize the city manager to sign a development agreement with Hotel 1900 LLC for the construction of a downtown boutique hotel.
I'll second. Sorry. I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Okay, please start voting. Yeah, I need a couple. Thank you.
Counselor Jackie Vigil, how do you vote?
I approve.
The motion carried unanimously.
All right, thank you, thank you. That brings us to the next item on the agenda, FAA settlement agreement.
Thank you, Mayor. Over the last year or so, council will remember that we have discussed issue at the airport where there were occasions in the 2020 timeframe that adequate, under the FAA rules and regulations, adequate Air Force or air, fire protection and rescue services were not timely where they needed to be. Personnel were so anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes late arriving for flights. And the FAA notified the airport back in May of last year that they were assessing a almost $1.3 million penalty for those various instances of violation of the FAA regs. Since that time, since the county operates the airport, has been spearheading negotiations with the FAA to address that penalty, and the county has reached the point of an agreeable settlement with the FAA whereby the county will pay a much reduced penalty on the order of $64,000, with the balance of that penalty held in abeyance for a 2-year period during which the county will undertake certain heightened airport management tasks, primarily related to firefighting, but also related to some other operations at the airport. The county has stood up now its own firefighting force out at the airport. It used to be that they would rely on calling on the city to have our ARRF firefighters who are certified and qualified to do airport rescue operations appear for those flights. They now have their own staff to do that. And that's one of the big changes, because that's where some of the timing was getting lost. The city is on the hook for this settlement agreement because, as you know, we own land, or used to own land, on which the airport was located. And the FAA has considered us and still considers us a sponsor of the airport. So once this issue is taken care of, we will finalize that unwinding of the city's sponsorship of the airport, and we should get that completely under the auspices of the county and solve a number of entanglement problems that we have had over the years. There is a second agreement that goes with this FAA settlement agreement, which is just between us and the county. And that agreement recognizes that the county is fully in charge of the operations of the airport. So especially during this 2-year suspended fine period, if there are any further violations that cause the FAA to assert that the balance of that suspended fine is now due, that the county will be solely responsible for that, and we won't have any obligation under that. They'll cover whatever dealings with the FAA might arise out of that 2-year settlement period. So what's before council is authorizing the city manager both to sign the settlement agreement between the city and the county and the FAA, sort of the overarching settlement agreement, and then also authorize the city manager to sign the agreement between Alamosa County and the city.
Thank you very much. Okay, council. Councilor Yanavihil.
Mayor, I move that we approve the proposed settlement agreement with the FFA for settlement of alleged violations governing airport operations, and authorize the city manager to sign both it and a proposed agreement with Alamosa County to resolve the matter.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Let me just add, if you would, Councilor Vigil, there may be some very minor changes to the agreement as attached to the Novus agenda. So if your motion could include the authorized to sign that agreement as attached, or substantially similar agreement.
So amended.
And the second agrees to the amendment?
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not, please start voting.
Counselor Jackie Vigil,
I approve.
Okay, thank you. That brings us to the next item on the agenda, committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? No committee reports?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So I attended the Alamosa Homeless Coalition, and it was definitely an eye-opening meeting that we had. There was a lot of discussion about a lot of the places such as Horizon Heights, Century Mobile Home Park, Boyd School, and the Housing Authority. So I'll start with Boyd School. They were pretty sad that they had to cut out the daycare in Boyd because Heather, if you could help me with the reasoning behind that, but they can no longer keep the daycare at Boyd.
I believe it's, one of the major potential funders is a historical grant, and it's a significant grant. And in order to meet that grant, they won't be able to remodel the facility in a way to accommodate the, early childhood, center.
Correct. And then they said that they had secured like 1.1 million from the Shriners and 2.5 million in other grants. They're gonna have a contest in one of the schools to rename Boyd. So the winner will receive a bundle of school supplies for their school. As far as Alamosa Housing Authority, they hired their new director, and that person started today, actually. They spoke about the soup kitchen, and they were getting design proposals for that. They spoke about the how well the community service was going for St. Benedict's, and they said it went well. And so I guess they're using people from that have to do community service. They're using them at St. Benedict's, and I guess that is going really well. They also talked about the Supreme Court hearing regarding homelessness, and there was a big discussion on that. And, you know, they just wanted to let everybody know that, you know, they're still going to be enforcing illegal camping no matter which way that court hearing goes. Let's see what else. Oh, they talked about Mobile Century, that they got most of the sewer in, and they had 20 to 24 trailers in there that were really bad. And so they either they relocated the people that were living in those trailers. So they're talking about the expense now of removing the trailers, because I guess it's quite expensive to remove them. And they said that they had a bit of a problem with people going into those empty trailers. And so they would call APD, you know, to address that. I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that report. Appreciate it, Counselor Jackie Vigil. Any others? No? Okay, we'll go to the next item, staff announcements.
Thank you, council. I just have two quick ones, and then the city attorney has a quick one. Just want to remind everyone that this Friday is First Friday, and I believe Council Member Hensley will be hosting the city welcome table. So it's also Cinco de Mayo celebration and a lot of other stuff going on in the community. Also, before your next regular meeting on May 15th, we will have the Peace Officer Memorial. So that starts at 5:30 out here by the police station, just right outside. So with that, I'll turn it over to the city attorney.
As Tim mentioned, he and I will be riding the Shield 616 ride that starts on Thursday, the 16th, but there's an orientation meeting and pre-ride meeting on the evening of Wednesday, the 15th. So Mark Loy will be covering the meeting for me. You are quite familiar with him, and I'll leave you in his good hands.
I will also share, looking at the agenda for May 15th, it's gonna be pretty meaty, just so you're prepared. It might be a little bit of a longer meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that brings us down to council comments. Do we have any, okay, Counselor Young-Vio, and then Counselor Krebs.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, and then Counselor Hensley.
Heather, don't mean to put you on the spot, but last meeting and this meeting, we've had presentations from outside agencies. And so I don't know if, for our new counselors, if you could maybe talk about how they're on their outside partner that we give them money to, and what that looks like in the budget and stuff.
So I might be a little off on my numbers, but I think in totality, we have approximately 70,000, maybe a tiny bit more. That is the main line item. And of that 70,000, council used to have a 100% competitive process, where we would advertise entities. We used to have 3 different categories, then we changed it to just vulnerable populations. They would submit an application indicating how they would be serving a vulnerable population, their budget, and requesting funding type of situation. Council would review that information as part of the annual budget process and make a determination on how much they wanted to spend. Approximately, so again, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but approximately 4 or 5 years ago, there were 3 entities that were staying pretty much at the same level of funding. And because of the information that was presented to council on deliverables, and the type of vulnerable population they were serving, council felt that really, are we being honest when we say all 70,000 is transparent, or should we say these 3 entities at these amounts are where we're probably going to fund, as long as they are providing the information of deliverables and results and those types of things. And then that leaves the remaining amount eligible for the more competitive side of it. And those 3 entities were the South Central Seniors, the Senior Center, and the Boys and Girls Clubs. And then on the other side, we see a lot of consistency still on the competitive side. Every once in a while, we'll see maybe a new request and things like that. But then those are all handled through the budget process.
Thank you. Then, so a follow-up question is, how does an entity throw their hat in the ring for some of that competitive money?
So I need to check on the dates, but obviously when we start working towards preparing the budget for council, at least a month before that, we would do an advertisement. And they can submit a proposal at that point. If they're interested in finding out more information between now and then, because they might forget and don't want to miss it and that kind of thing, they can always contact Desiree Cortez in the city manager's office. 589-2593, I think is the general city number. And she can get their information and make sure that they receive a notice when we go out for that competitive process.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe it's Counselor, I forgot which one, Krebs, and then, okay.
Short arms. Okay. Thank you, Mayor. I am so happy and excited this past weekend. It just seemed, as the weather warmed up, all the city events just spilled out onto the road. I love the idea that we're becoming a city of murals, and I was very happy to attend not only the Welcome Centers one, but also on Friday, the Adams State one for. And if you don't get if you get a chance, I don't know if you're allowed just to stroll into a college building, up on the 3rd floor. It's in coordination with the Black Student Union, and it's just amazing. It's just great to see. And also, I had a great time at the senior center. They had their spring fling. And so just to go out there and support the vendors that support the senior center. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Counselor Crabb. Counselor Hensley.
So just want to congratulate and wish our graduates from Trinidad and Adams State for next week. Obviously, it's great to have them in our community and wish them the best. And just wanted to announce that.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Hensley. Okay, I'll wrap things up. Just want to thank everyone for all of your work and effort that you've been putting in on city council. I know we have some long meetings sometimes and it's really tough, so thank you for that. And also the murals, like Councilor Krebs were talking about this past week, I can really see why we were voted #1 culture scene by the USA Today because of all the culture that we have in our community. So I'm really thankful for the people in our community. All right, there are no other comments. This meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you.